Hey everybody, Shadow here. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be a loadout video. I'm trying a new format for these. I'm not just doing like, oh, these are the top 5 best weapons. I'm going to do a little bit of everything so that you guys have more options to use and then you're not stuck using the same old stuff. So that being said, make sure you guys give this video a like. Comment, let me know if you guys agree with my choices here, or if you guys have some suggestions that you'd like to see or you'd like me to test out for you. Be more than happy to do that. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We do loadout videos like this. I have gameplays, and it's just a lot of fun on the channel, so make sure you guys subscribe and join the show. Sometimes we'll stream here on YouTube, other times we stream on Twitch. And my Twitch is in my YouTube bio, or on my YouTube page. One of those, you can find it there. So, yeah, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, guys. And without further ado, let's get into the loadouts. So this is my new format for loadout videos. I'm going to give you guys 5 loadouts. And, we're going to go absolute meta, easy to use, the fastest TTK loadouts, a sniper loadout, which will include the meta for sniper support as well, and then something new for you guys to try. And every time we have a meta update or there's a meta shift and I do a loadout video, the guns in here will change, so that way you guys have something fresh to use. That's not BO7 guns or whatever, something if you're you just want to try something fun that's still competitive and you're not going to die to everybody because you're using them. So, that being said, let's get to the absolute meta first. So as of right now, the Sturmwolf 45 and the M15 Mod 0 are the absolute meta. They both are just so easy to use. There's not a lot of recoil on either one of these. And they're some of the best TTK options in the game right now. So with the Sturmwolf, they nerfed the carrier mod, which is the bolt carrier, the firing, this thing. It gives you better fire rate, because it only ups it by 4% now, and honestly that does not change your TTK that much, and it's not worth all those negatives to do 4% for what? It's not going to do much. So with that being said, I opted to change that out and put on a suppressor, because this gun is so easy to use. I don't see the need to use anything else. So we get the suppressor, we have the lethal barrel for this one, so we're going to go with get damage range and bullet velocity, so you get 14 meters of effective damage range and almost 600 bullet velocity, which is really good for an SMG. We have the horizontal envoy grip that gives us horizontal control, sprint speed, and regular movement speed, so it makes us faster. And then we get the 48 round mag, and then we have the corpus stock, which is going to give us better strafing speed and aim down sight speed. So with that, you get 172 millisecond aim down sight speed, all this extra movement, and your gun is very easy to control. Next is the M15 mod. Where is it? I just saw it. It was somewhere. Mod 0, sorry. So this is the iron sight version, which would be good for small map. So what we did was we swapped out the optic for the buffer spring. So as you can see, this thing almost literally has very, very tiny bits of recoil, very easy to use, very fast TTK. This one gives you about a 50 meter effective damage range, and you have over 1200 bullet velocity, which makes it easier to control. The bow and linchpin, which is more control. Bulwark, which gives you 60 bullets instead of 45. If you wanted to play solos or something like that, smaller squad sizes, you can go with the 45, so it can be more aggressive and it doesn't load as slow. And then I opt for this barrel because it gives us better bullet velocity, but it also gives us recoil control. If you were comfortable with it, you could swap this out and go for this barrel, which gives you a little bit more damage range, but you do suffer just a small setback in the bullet velocity category. But it is still a viable option that you could use. However, I think this one is the way to go. Easy to use category. So the Carbon 57 has gotten some really good buffs to its recoil. So as of right now, it does. You'll see on there that it says it has a lot of recoil, but when you actually test it and you actually fire it out, it's not that hard to control, and it does have a really fast TTK, and it also has good damage in the mid-range as well. So we just extended the damage range out to give us a 12 meter damage range. We give we use the brake here to give us better vertical recoil control. Then we have the Renown Plus mag giving us 50 bullets. And then we have the Hammer Platoon pad, which is also giving us better aim down sight and strafe speed. And then we have the accelerated recoil system, which is going to give us better recoil control. And then the Maddox is probably the easiest gun to use in the game, and it has a really good TTK in its first damage range, and it's not too terrible in its mid damage range either. We went with almost all recoil attachments here, just to mitigate as much of the recoil as possible. The only exception here is this is not normally the muzzle attachment that you'd be using. I just don't have it leveled up to 41 to get the monolithic suppressor. This is actually what you're going to want, so you can extend out your bullet velocity up to over 1100, and your damage range goes to 41. So that'd be the only difference here. Virtuous stock, this is just that bullet velocity and recoil control. And then the furrow control stock, again, recoil control. And then we're going to use the 3X on this. You could also opt in and get do the 2X for even less visual recoil. And then we have the 50 round extended mag. Then as far as the reticle goes, I like to use this T-pose looking reticle. It's definitely much easier to use and easier to control that way. Fastest TTK weapons in the game right now, and as of this moment when I'm making this video, the Razor 9mm has the fastest TTK up close for SMGs, and it's sitting in the low fives, right around 520, 525, which is incredibly fast. So this build we aimed to make it fairly aggressive, but also to mitigate some of the control that you'd need. So we got the precision compensator here, and then we got the damage range barrel, and then we have the 50 round extended mag, because you just burn through ammo. It's 1000 RPM. Then the Talos pad gives us better aim walking speed and aim down sight speed, and then we have the reflex sight because the iron sights on this are absolutely terrible. And then the AK, this is built for Rebirth Island. It's obviously not got an optic. Monolithic suppressor, better damage range and bullet velocity. We have better bullet velocity and control there, better control, and a 45 round extended mag. You could go up to the 60 if you would like to, but it's normally not necessary. If you want a sight, just drop the buffer spring and put the sight on. Next up, we have the sniper category. So this is going to include your best sniper support in the game. Right now, I believe it's the Peacekeeper, but you could also argue that the Maddox is just as good. Their TTKs are right around the same, and they're really good at the mid-range, so definitely worth using, and they can fry up close as well. You'll see that I have the Hawker at level 1 because I prestiged it, so I don't exactly remember all the greatest attachments for it, but the barrel that you actually want to use is the 23.7 barrel, because it gives you better, it gives you infinite headshot range, so that would be the best for the big map. And then for small map, you can use this votive barrel that I have on, which gives you better damage range and bullet velocity. So depending on what mode you're going to play, I would recommend for Resurgence, and this I would recommend for big map. Then monolithic suppressor, I think the sight on it's pretty good. Then you're going to want to put on the fast mags for better ADS. I think there's a stock for better ADS as well, and then the rear grip for better ADS. Actually, you wouldn't want to use the stock. You want to go in and do overpressured rounds. So you do overpressured, the barrel, and the monolithic suppressor, and you should be sitting somewhere pretty. That one barrel that gives you the infinite one-shot headshot range is going to drop your bullet velocity to around 1100, I think, if I remember correctly, maybe 12. But the Hawker is the best. Is definitely the best sniper in the game. The Recon's really good too, and if you guys want to load up for that, I'll post that in my Discord. But as far as the build for the Peacekeeper goes, this is the Peacekeeper build for sniper support. So we have the Redwell Shade X suppressor for better control, and they buffed it by decreasing how much bullet velocity we lost, because before it was 13%, and then same thing for damage range. But now that's down to about 6%, so they cut it in half. So now we get better control we still got that really good control, but we don't get penalized as much in the damage range and bullet velocity department. Then I'm opting for the speed barrel, which is going to give us, better aim down sight and sprint to fire speed and all that fun stuff. So makes us more snappy and aggressive. We got a 45 round mag on here just to keep it aggressive, because you put the 60 round and it's going to slow you down quite a bit. Then we have the counterforce stock, the prestige attachment. This gives us much better control, and it gives us better recoil stabilization, just makes the pattern more predictable. And then we opt for buffer spring on this. The iron sights are pretty clean, so you shouldn't have any trouble with that. And now the last one is going to be the try this part of it. This is probably the funnest part. So I'm going to go through the loadouts for these two guns, and then I'm going to show you what they do in the firing range and explain to you why I chose these ones. So for the first bit of this, let's go with the Vel 46. It has a really good time to kill in its first damage range. You're sitting right under 500 or right under 600. You can get, I think, 576 if you get all chest shots in there. And it's, for an older gun, it's got decent movement speed, very minimal recoil, and it's very fun to use as well. So Shadow Strike suppressor, any suppressor will do. The Schlager RVB for better range, velocity, control, with minimal penalties to like aim down sight and stuff like that. XRK Edge, and then we have the 50 round mag. You could opt 60 if you really want to, but you get aim down sight penalties at that point. And then the Demo RXT stock for better aim down sight, sprint speed, and crouch movement speed, which is that's minimal, so we don't really care about that. And then we get the TAC 56, the Scar. This thing I love this gun. I've always loved this gun. We got over 1,000 bullet velocity with this build, and 54 meters of effective damage range, and we have a under 700 TTK out to 54 meters. And honestly, you can extend that out if you wanted to. You can get 59 meters of effective damage range in 1,200 bullet velocity, and the gun is still just as easy to use. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to show you guys what these look like in the firing range. So 560, and that was with a couple of headshots. So 560 is about what you're going to get, which is definitely competitive. And then with the TAC 56, 688, I believe, is your 672 is your TTK. So the TAC 56 is definitely very good, and the Quartermaster suppressor might do you good, might do you a little bit better. But if you can't do the iron sights on the TAC, just drop the bow breaker grip and put on a sight, whatever sight you feel the most comfortable with. And then for everybody else, honestly, I would actually recommend keeping the Quartermaster suppressor on there. But that being said, those are your top 5 loadouts: your absolute, your easy, your fast, TTK, your sniper, and recommendations on things to try if you're bored with the game. That being said, thank you guys so much. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Shadow out.